Yeah, come and take a look at the snow. Bright white as far as your eyesight goes. Come and take a look at the fields of snow. I'll just get my coat, then we're good to go. Come and take a look at the lake. Let's have a quick skate before it gets late. Come and take a look at the frozen lake. Put your clothes on, mate, don't make that mistake.
Greetings, holiday shoppers. There are 206 shopping days left until Christmas, and you know what that means. That means it's time for another episode of Christmas Creeps, your one-stop shop for holiday movies and TV shows all year round. Hi, my name is Joseph Wade. I will be your host for this evening. Here with me tonight are my co-hosts, Johnny Five, the human robot.
Yo, what's up?
Yo, J-Man, how you doing?
Oh, been worse.
We can all say that, can't we? And Mr. Bradford is here as well. Brad.
Oh, it's been too long, my friend. Hello.
Oh, that sounded like a bottle.
It was a bottle, which is a bit out of character for me, but
You
go to war with the army you have. Can check.
What kind of bottle you got?
This is a Star Hill Looking Glass IPA.
Ooh.
How about yourself?
Well, it's summertime, baby. This is June 1st as we're releasing this. I got me a Leinenkugel Summer Shandy here.
Ooh, light, crisp.
I love it.
Leinenkugel, send us stuff.
Please, I am your biggest fan. Gentle friends, we are now officially into the summer. Actually, not officially, because the summer starts at the end of June. But it's hot outside, everybody. And we thought that one good Let It Snow deserved another. And so we're watching another Let It Snow tonight, 2020's Let It Snow, which is a Ukrainian horror film. And I mean, the best thing that I can say about it, at the jump is it's snowy and cold. And I appreciated that.
You could say that the weather outside is certainly frightful.
Oh, beautiful. You could definitely say that. So yeah, that's kind of the vibe of this podcast tonight, everybody. We've got a horror movie in June, and yeah, if you couldn't tell, we're not enthused.
Shocker.
The opposite of enthused tonight. And I feel like this one's my fault. J-Man picked the last movie and I picked this one, and I feel like I've just been picking stinkers lately. Like I'm not trying to, I'm not doing it on purpose. It just kind of turns out that way.
We were originally going to do Muppet Family Christmas, and let me tell you, I feel robbed.
How we landed on this one is actually a bit of a mystery. Because...
No, there's no mystery. We wanted to do a really stupid joke with our movie selections.
Well, you know what? We haven't even hit the punchline yet, but we are already paying for the joke. Mm-hmm. This is a thing we have done to ourselves, and you know what, guys? I'm sorry. But should we just jump straight into it?
Sure.
Let's not beat around the bush. Let's just dive in. This is Let It Snow. If you want to watch along with us, it's on Tubi. It's an hour, 26 minutes. It's relatively short, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. Feel free to make liberal use of that skip button, because there's lots of long static shots of snow that don't go anywhere.
Pretty scenery. I will give it that. There's some pretty mountains.
Oh, yeah.
Some pretty snow.
It's a gorgeous looking movie, and my compliments of the movie kind of end there.
Yeah.
If you're in it for, helicopter shots of snowy mountains, this is fine. But I feel like there are better and easier ways to get that fix.
Nature documentaries, etc.
Exactly. Or just if you have an Apple TV or something, just leave it on the screensaver and wait for a mountain to show up. I don't know, man. But the first thing that I feel like it warrants inspection here is this film comes from director Stanislav Kaprilov, who I noticed is younger than all three of us.
Oh, oof.
And that hit me particularly hard.
What have we done with our lives?
And not to mention the fact that this came out in the last year. So we've been doing this show for almost 7 years now. And in that time, we could have made our own Let It Snow, I think.
Should we have, though?
I think I'm fine with this legacy over that legacy.
Yeah, I guess so. So, I mean, let me turn it over to you guys real quick. First impressions.
I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good either. Right?
I mean, it's like last week I was talking about the movie was predictable, but in a good way. It's like the nice happy thing I wanted to happen happened. In this movie, it's like, oh, I wish there was an actual twist.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like, hi, video game chat. You know how in like the early, like in case 1 or case 2 of every Phoenix Wright game, it's like, well, there were only 4 characters here. One of them's Phoenix, one of them's the defendant, and one of them is some other guy. Well, I think I know who did it. This movie's kind of the same way. There's so few characters. It's like, well, these ones can't be the killer, so it's the one who I've not eliminated yet.
It's Frank Sawwit.
Yeah, exactly.
Real name of a real character in Phoenix Wright, by the way. Also the witness who ends up being the murderer. Spoiler alert for her first, I believe the first case in the entire series. So you're not in that far.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like if you haven't played a Phoenix Wright game yet,
you're probably not gonna.
But you're probably also gonna pick the newest one. So no harm, no foul. But yeah,
I would recommend starting at the beginning, my friend.
Okay.
Or the Great Ace Attorney, which is its own separate thing.
Or you could watch the Ace Attorney film directed by Takashi Miike.
We could do that. We should have done that instead. What are we doing?
We would have had more fun if we had just done that.
For certain.
But alas, no, we did not. But yeah, like there's only I think 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 actual characters in the film, and it can really only go one of 2 ways, right? Like it's a horror movie, so you've got your final girl character, you've got the first kill, and then you've got 2 potential killers. It's either one or the other. So it's like a true or false 50% choice kind of situation here.
I would say even calling this a horror movie feels a bit, I don't know if disingenuous is the right word, but you know what I mean. Like this is more of a thriller than anything else.
Yeah.
It's a thriller pretending to be a horror movie.
Yeah. I mean the vibe that I got off of this one, especially from just the cinematography, the camera work, was like, this is like if Wes Anderson actually tried to make a horror movie. It would look just like this. And it would probably be about as scary as this. And that's not a knock on Wes Anderson. It's just like his style is not suited to this kind of thing. And I feel like that's what they were going for, because there's a lot of, especially at the hotel in the film, a lot of the shots are like direct, like straight on, symmetrical, very flat. And I feel like it was intended to be creepy, and it doesn't really come off that way.
I think that's a good descriptor for a lot of this movie, save for 1 or 2 scenes.
Yeah, I don't like to find myself saying this about too many movies, but this could have totally been longer. It was 86 minutes, and a lot of that was filler.
Yeah, I feel like we should have gotten more explanation than we did. And I know, like, in a horror movie, like, you don't want to explain the horror because that makes it less scary, but if only to just explain what the hell's going on, you know?
I mean, the problem is, the explanation is, it's just one of those, it's like Saw, basically, where it's just like, what's the villain's motivations? If I can't be happy, literally nobody can be happy. That's it.
That's pretty much.
Should we get into a quick plot synopsis? Because there's really not a whole lot here. Right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think we can jump through it pretty quick. So, Brad, just give us the quick and dirty.
All right, so Mia and Max are 2 American tourists who are in Georgia over Christmas, and they are going skiing, because Georgia is a very mountainous country, and they arrive at their hotel, and one of the other main characters is sort of the front desk / would she be a maitre d'? I don't know.
Concierge.
The concierge.
She's Tim Curry.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. They want to go to a specific site that has been off limits as of the last couple months.
The Black Ridge.
The Black Ridge. Max is, I think he's supposed to be a professional snowboarder, and
Yeah.
Mia has kind of come into it. She's still a hobbyist, but she's apparently very good. So they're having a snowboarding holiday. Come to find out, Max is going to propose to Mia. We see that in a number of scenes and flashbacks. They want to go to the Black Ridge. The concierge, does she have a name?
I don't
get
think
a
she
name?
does. I don't
Okay.
think she got a name.
We're just going to call her the concierge.
She does in the credits,
Okay.
but that's how important it is, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
As far as I can tell, her name is Lolly.
Okay. The concierge, I'm just going to keep calling her the concierge. The concierge warns them against going to the Black Ridge. It's off limits. It's very dangerous. Nobody's going to take you there. Seriously, don't go. Somebody just went missing yesterday.
Yeah,
They
like,
don't-
oh yeah, no, they sealed it off. They fenced it off, and people have been dying there.
Yeah, so, of course, because this is a horror/thriller movie, they don't listen. Max ends up bribing a helicopter pilot to take them to the Black Ridge. They start their trek downwards. Oh, before that, they actually... The guy who just died is pulled up in front of the hotel in a body bag right before they... Like, 2 seconds before they leave.
We're
And they're like,
missing...
no. Mm-hmm.
We're missing important context, though. Sorry. The entire opening scene.
Oh, yeah. You want to do that?
Yeah, so the opening scene, this movie is in Georgian and English, and it, as far as I know, does not use any subtitles for the Georgian, and I think that's intentional, the idea being that these characters are dumb Americans. They don't know Georgian.
Yeah.
Right. So it's dumb American tourists who don't speak the language, and it's basically to their detriment that they don't.
Because it's kind of like the movie The Thing, where it's like, man, if I spoke Norwegian, I'd understand this movie a lot better from the get-go.
Exactly, yeah.
Because it's what happens is there's this young girl standing on the slope getting ready to ski, and then a snowboarder just fully fucking plows into her. And then another snowboarder comes up, and they argue for a little bit in Georgian, and this you don't hear what they're saying, but like from what the context, you realize that what they're doing is they're just like, holy shit, I ran into this girl. Is she okay? No, I think she's pretty fucking far from okay. Well, I didn't see anything happen. Did you? Nope. Let's keep snowboarding.
Yeah.
So they just leave her to die. And that's what made me think about that is what happens when they're in the helicopter is the helicopter pilot is like, oh yeah, no, that's across from this girl, daughter of a rescue squad. She died when a snowboarder hit her on the mountain and left her to die.
Yep. Free riders. And they say her ghost still haunts these Black Ridge to this day.
Ooh.
And the man with the hook was me.
So they start their free riding expedition, and after about 2 minutes, they get separated by a thick fog, which is the same thick fog that happens at the beginning of the movie.
Which is the only inkling that you get that there's something maybe supernatural going on, and then that's a total bait and switch, because like, no, there's not.
No, not so much. They get separated, and Mia gets hit by a snowmobiler
Yes.
and disoriented, and she comes to, and Max is nowhere to be found. He's not responding on the walkie-talkie. He's not picking up his phone. And she starts walking. She has a snowboard, and she starts walking, searching for Max. She eventually finds Max, who's been duct taped up, and he's tied to the back of the snowmobile, and the snowmobile drags him away, presumably to his death. Cue about 45 minutes. No, go on. Somebody else take it.
No, yeah, and at that point, Brad was going to say it. Cue about 45 minutes of Mia wandering around in the snow, learning very little and doing absolutely nothing.
Yes, and making the absolute wrong decision every single time. Literally every single time there is a decision to be made.
And again, like there are nice shots along the way. There's some good scenery. There's a couple of really interesting moments that you think are supposed to be symbolic, but it kind of just peters out. Like there's a scene where she like decides to lie down underneath a tree and set a little campfire, and then it just cuts to like morning, and the entire tree is on fire.
And then
like
it's burnt away.
and
That's kind of a cool. Like, there's some cool shots. Don't
there's
get me wrong.
There's neat stuff, but like what I'm getting at is like none of it ultimately means anything. Like it's just cool for coolness' sake.
There's also like they try to pull a motif of the Madonna and Child. Like they're trying so hard to sell that as a motif, and
It doesn't go anywhere.
concept of motherhood, and they keep repeating this flashback where she's like, "I want a family. Are you okay with that?" Can you deal with that?
By the way, they do that because this movie ostensibly takes place on Christmas Eve.
Yes.
Because they're staying at the hotel over Christmas. That's the whole point of all of this. That's why we're talking about it.
I forgot to mention, we've got a dead mom alert on our hands.
Oh my god.
Because Mia's parents died when she was younger.
It kind of reminds me, did either of you see Midsummer?
It reminds me a lot of Midsommar in a lot of ways.
Like the same kind of setup, the same sort of creepy, like dumb American tourists going to a country with a language and a culture that they don't understand, and then bad shit happening just because.
Yep.
And
but unlike Midsommar, I'm just saying Midsommar is a much better movie than this.
Oh, 100%. The only leg up this has over Midsummer is that it is an hour shorter.
Yes. Where were we? Yeah, Dead Mom Alert. They try to pull the whole. They do the whole Madonna and Child thing, and they try to play that up, but it doesn't really. They don't really stick the landing. I don't think. Really.
No. And there's a couple of like tense situations where Mia comes up against the snowmobiler. Like the snowmobiler like triggers a bomb to explode, which sets off an avalanche and it traps her. And then she gets cut out of the ice by this other character that we meet, who is apparently the grandfather of the girl who died in the very first scene of the film.
Yeah.
And he only speaks Georgian, and we don't get any subtitles from him. So there's a fun little cult language barrier thing going on there.
He shares the tape of her singing Let It Snow, the girl who died.
And here's... I mentioned this off podcast. Here's the one thing I will give this film over the last film that we watched. It actually uses the song Let It Snow.
Yeah.
Because I went back to the first film and it didn't.
It uses the first film uses Let It Snow as a pithy one-liner at the very end of the movie.
Right. Yeah, but it doesn't incorporate the song really at all. But this one kind of hits you over the head with it a lot.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Which do you prefer? Which uses it the worst? I don't know anymore. I take back what I said. I don't know that that's the better. This is the better use.
I didn't know it was possible for us to sour even more on this movie, but here we are. No,
it's happening by the minute. We are the sourest grapes.
It's that thing where it's just like, man, every single turn I was like, they could have done this and it would have been so much more interesting. Mm-hmm. And then they didn't do that. Like, it would have been so much more interesting if the creepy woman was just creepy because she just has a creepy face, and that's all it was.
Sometimes I say this a lot. I've said this about a movie recently, but this feels like a lot of wasted potential. Like, there's a lot of really cool, creepy stuff they could have done.
And this is only 86 minutes long. They could have taken an hour and a half of just like expanding the fucking shit, and I wouldn't have felt like they wasted any of that time.
I almost want to go back and take note of how much of this movie is just Mia like stumbling through a snowfield, because it's got to be a solid 20 minutes.
They
right?
are very, very pretty shots, though. I'll give it that.
They are very pretty shots. Yes. The one thing that did bother me, that gets my hackles up about this, is the inconsistency in the scenes. I don't know if it was intentional and it's supposed to be like, oh, she's disoriented, she's, whatever. Oftentimes she'll be like up on a snowy ridge and then she'll be down below the tree line. That's a tough hike to do.
Yeah, and then one scene she'll be like completely bruised up, and the next scene like her face is relatively clear. It's like, is this supposed to feel disjointed? It's one of those things where it's like, did the filmmaker do a bad job, or am I supposed to be confused?
Yeah, is it intentional? I guess the fact that we're arguing about whether or not it's intentional means they did an okay job of it, but
I would
it's still
argue the opposite.
noticeable.
I would say that means they did a bad job.
Yeah, no,
yeah, because through the course of me taking my notes, I wrote down about 6 or 7 different predictions, all of which turned out to be false. And one of the predictions that I wrote was, is Mia trapped in some kind of purgatory state where she's just wandering the snowy landscape
See,
forever?
that would be
That
interesting.
That's an idea, and this movie doesn't seem to have ideas.
No.
It is a woman slowly getting murdered over the course of 45 minutes.
So let's finish it up. So
With Bob's Bobopedic mattress ads in between. No.
Wait, what?
I'm not going to say which advertising management tools I use so that Tubi doesn't figure it out and get around them, but I saw no ads while watching this movie.
Well,
thanks, Tubi.
see, I tried that, but against my own efforts, I ended up just dealing with it.
See, here's what happened to me. I also have certain ad thwarting programs on my computer, which caused Tubi to not play the movie at all.
That's what happened to me as well.
So I had to go into incognito mode on Chrome, and so I just got 5 minutes of generic window cleaner products and pill delivery services every 10 to 15 minutes of this film, which completely undercut any tension that this movie might have had.
Speaking of undercut any tension, we're now supported by advertisers. This episode is brought to you by... No, I'm just kidding.
No, keep going. Keep going. This is good.
No.
This is good.
No.
This episode is brought to you by the hammer gun, the gun that shoots hammers.
I don't want to do this to our listeners. I don't want to do a fake Squarespace ad for our listeners.
Ad coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Buy rice. I've become obsessed with the... You remember when SNL used to have good fake commercials in it?
Oh, yeah, like dog chow rat poison.
Yeah, there was one of those Frunga, which was Jenga but made of glass.
Like colon blow.
Yeah, but they also have like little one-offs from the makers of Bloody Blood, of just a thing that like they didn't even have a full joke for, and one of them was the hammer gun, the gun that shoots hammers. And I've become just obsessed with that recently.
Yeah, the ads just completely destroyed any tension this film has.
Which is probably one of the reasons it's hard to really pay attention to it too. Because there were points where I was just like, she's just wandering down a mountain again. I can alt tab for a second and
yeah, a lot of tabbing away happening.
This is what happens when you can't, watch movies outside of your house.
I mean,
this is what the pandemic's done to people.
What's the movie we watched about the guy who worked at the toy store? I forget its name.
The Toy Factory. That was
Toy Factory. Yeah.
That was
Christmas Evil.
Evil. That was a good movie.
Yeah,
and
that movie had a lot of like nothing going on except just shots that are just setting the mood, and it worked so well. And this movie has so many shots like that just don't work.
Yeah.
Well, and two, a lot of it is just that it's either like actual helicopter shots, or we stuck a GoPro on a drone and just set it on its way.
Here's another thing, and I know this is a common horror movie thriller complaint, but it's especially egregious here. I have no sympathy for either of these victims.
Yeah, they're designed to be stupid Americans.
Yeah, they went to a different country where they don't speak the language. They were warned multiple times in no uncertain terms not to go to this place, and they decided, well, we came all this way. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to go to this place, even though people have been straight up found dead.
And there's even the scene where, like, Max tells me that, like, all those other people who died, they're dumb. But you and me, we're professionals. We're smart. We're not going to die. We're unkillable.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that just means you're definitely going to die.
Well, I mean, she didn't.
Didn't she?
Spoiler alert. I don't know.
I mean, did you watch the entire movie, Joe?
Yeah.
I did, and I honestly don't even remember what happened in it.
Also,
oh yeah, that's right, she did. I forgot.
It would have been better if she had died. I don't know.
Okay, so we have to get to that point.
All right,
so let's wrap this up.
She gets rescued by this old guy who is the granddaughter of or is the grandfather of a girl who plays Let It Snow tape. When Mia wakes up the next morning, that guy's gone. She finds a snowmobile outside, gets chased around by the black snowmobile rider again. She eventually finds like a cave of some sort that seems to be a shrine to the dead girl, where
Grandpa is tied up.
Yeah,
for
Grandpa's
some
tied
reason.
up. And we don't even know that this girl's the dead girl yet. It's just like, there's only like 4 characters in the movie. Who else is it going to be?
Yeah.
Exactly.
She gets chased around some more, falls down some more, screams a couple times at the snowmobile rider. Then she eventually finds that Max has been presumably killed. I don't know how he would survive. And stuffed inside a snowman. And then she falls off a cliff with the snowman. Then the black snowmobile rider goes up to a cross, which is the cross we saw from the plane earlier, or from the helicopter earlier, and takes off the helmet, and it's the concierge from the hotel who carves a cross into a couple crosses into the cross.
I don't think it was the concierge. I think it was her sister.
It was the mother.
I think
it was either the mother or the sister, but it's a relative, because the concierge was on the. Remember, there's a scene where the concierge is on the phone in like the middle of the night speaking in Georgian.
Yeah.
Because she like puts the cross on the door, and she's basically like, "Yo, these fools are going to the Black Ridge, murder them."
Okay, so then the mother was the Black Rider.
It's the mother who's the Black Rider, and I assume
I
they
think.
tied up Santa, aka the grandfather, because he helped rescue
Yeah.
Mia, and so they were like, nah.
Yeah, but you see,
I see what you're saying here. Like the grandfather is like a total red herring because like of course it's him, right? And then it turns out no, it's not.
Yeah.
because
Like how could it not be? But then it
well,
certainly
the
isn't.
person I was putting on until it revealed that it wasn't was the rescue worker. Because it was just like who's the only other character we've seen on a snowmobile in this movie? The rescue workers, and it's
Yeah.
clearly not them. Because we've also not mentioned them at all.
Yeah, and I even also considered the possibility that it might have been Max, and that Max was taking Mia up there to kill her.
See, that would have been different.
Yeah. If I was making this movie, I would have the twist be that it really is a fucking ghost doing this, and all of the creepy people in town are trying to warn them away because they're like, dude, don't go up there. There's a fucking ghost. It's haunted. Mountain's haunted.
Yeah, that would have been better and not completely predictable. And
Yeah.
here's the thing. I am so bad at predicting the endings and twists in movies. I saw this one coming after like 20 minutes. Of course it's the family getting revenge. Duh.
Yeah,
And it's also one of those things like Saw where it's really fucking hollow because like your revenge is just like, I'm just gonna kill people who piss me off in a vague way now. Like
I mean,
it's Jason Voorhees tactics of like, oh
it's
these-
Jason's
these-
mother. Yeah,
these snowboarders piss me off. I'm gonna kill every snowboarder I can find now.
I think, well, maybe I'm giving the movie too much credit, but I think the idea was that they kill every free rider. They'll eventually kill the ones that killed their daughter, and also general revenge, I guess. I don't know.
I think that's too much credit. I think
Yeah.
the idea is just the idea is just supposed to be like, oh, it's creepy. That's it.
I will give the movie this. I did like the scene where she finds Max's body, like his body parts carved off and stuffed into a snowman, and she's like hugging it and so happy. That was reasonably creepy. I'll give it that.
And
That
then
was okay.
She falls off a mountain and then gets back up.
She falls off a mountain, and then it completely destroys any gravitas whatsoever when she gets back up and yells, because
I mean, I would have liked that all if it was more she was actually like fighting against the Black Rider. Like they actually had some back and forth rather than just her
yeah, exactly.
running
yeah.
and falling down. Because like,
yeah.
like set a trap for the Black Rider or something, you know?
or like, find a fucking ice axe and take a chunk out of the asshole. Like something. Like it has to feel more like a survival movie rather than just a run around and yell.
Get on your snowboard and snowboard down the mountain the original way that you were planning on snowboarding down the mountain, which you should have done 5 minutes into the movie when you got separated from Max.
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty
like
much.
the ski lodge there can only be one direction the ski lodge is in, and it's down.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they planned out their route before they left.
Yeah,
Ugh,
yeah, and
it
I mean
bothers me so much. I know I should not be applying real world logic to horror movies because they always make the worst decisions, but come on.
the first thing they always tell you to do when preparing for any crisis is to set up a rendezvous point.
Yeah.
You know?
And if they are presumably professionals, they would have done that.
Of course.
Ugh,
But then,
anyways.
you know, with that post-credit scene where Mia survives the fall and gets up and screams, that kind of lends some credence to the idea that she is trapped in some kind of like snowy purgatory and she's doomed to do this forever.
I think that's giving the
but-
movie too much
That's
credit.
giving it too much
Well, that's-
credit, and my response would be, what the fuck did she do?
Well, yes, but also if y'all had let me finish my sentence,
Sorry.
I would have said, but the movie does not get you to that point, so that's all bullshit.
Yeah.
There's no anything backing that up. But again, like we said, it would have been something.
Yeah. I mean,
You know?
as it is, we have characters who are suffering the crime of just being dumb tourists, which isn't that inspiring to me. I mean, it really creates a kind of like it's really weird for people who actually are Eastern European to create a movie where the moral of the movie is, man, Eastern Europe is sure fucking creepy. Let's never go there.
Brought to you by the Tourism Board of Georgia.
Like, hey, Americans, don't come here.
It actually looks like a really pretty country. I think it would be pretty cool to visit someday. But
You know,
anyways.
that occurred to me, so I did a little bit of research, and I know, Brad, you found the actual hotel.
I don't know if it was the actual hotel, but it was a very similar hotel.
Well, assuming for the purpose of this bit that it's the actual hotel, in the film it's called the Georgia Ski Hotel, which is a little on the nose, but okay. But the actual name of this hotel is not much better. It's the Hotel Carpe Diem Gudari. Now, here's what I did. If you want to stay at this hotel over Christmas Eve, it'll cost you $102 a night, as per Google and Kayak and all those wonderful places, which seems like a steal, right?
Yes.
However, the cost to fly from the U.S. to Tbilisi, Georgia, which is the nearest airport to this hotel on Christmas Eve, that'll run you about $1,250 per person.
I mean, for an international flight, that's not egregious.
I guess not, but in order to capitalize on this cheap hotel, $102 seems relatively cheap for you for us in the U.S. In Georgia, that might be a little different. I don't know, but yeah, you have to. Your travel expenses will be exorbitant compared to the hotel expenses.
I
That's
get
all
you.
I'm saying.
Yeah. I get you.
It does look like a wonderful hotel and ski resort though. So
Yeah. Flight prices out of the U.S. are always way worse than into the U.S. When I went to Germany, it was about $1,200 to get my flight to and from the U.S.
Mhm.
Then when I, on a fucking whim, came back for like winter break for a month, it cost me like less than $500 for a flight from Germany back to the U.S. and back for like the same fucking flight. Just because I booked it in Germany instead, it was half the price.
Well,
I don't know if to go over that, but the point is, like, man,
Yeah.
flying internationally fucking sucks.
That's interesting. Couldn't you book 2 round trip flights from Germany and end up $200 ahead if you just ditched the flight on either end? You know what I'm saying?
Probably, yeah. And it's just then you just have the, I don't know, Interpol, FBI, CIA, NSA.
I don't think it's a
Everyone
crime to not go on a flight that you got a ticket for.
Man, this is America. Everything's a crime.
A one-way ticket from Tbilisi to the U.S. would run about $600.
Okay, so that scans. That's about the same.
So what J-Man says is correct.
I had friends from Europe who were like, called me once, like, hey, we're in Miami. It's like, why the fuck are you in Miami? Oh, we got a flight for like $300 from England to Miami. What the fuck?
Huh. Well, now you know what I'm doing, right?
Going to Miami?
No, I'm going to look up Manchester to Miami. No, that's still $600.
This is some podcast right here.
This is thrilling.
This is how inspiring this movie is, though, because it's just like, man, I wish that was a better movie. Man, that movie, even though it was refreshingly short, it could have stood to be a little longer and actually have some shit in it. It's like, remember Rocky IV? How they waste so much time just having full songs in it?
Oh, yeah, totally. Hey, remember the episode we did on In Bruges where you guys were so bored with the movie, we just started looking up bowling alleys in Bruges?
In hindsight, I enjoyed that movie a lot more, but yeah.
And here it's even worse where we're trying to figure out how much it would cost to escape Georgia.
Oh man.
Yeah, it would have been interesting if anything else happened other than just like, oh, it's just a vague sense of revenge on the type of person that caused some tragedy to me or someone I know, which is like
Right.
basically Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Saw. It's any fucking horror movie where we're supposed to in some way think like, the killer isn't all that wrong, which is like, he kind of lost me where he started murdering people, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Should we go to the crankometer?
Yes, please and thank you.
Yeah, this is gonna be a short one, but it was a short movie and it wasted a lot of time.
Just like this episode, it's a short podcast and we wasted some time. Brad, I'm sorry.
No, I was telling Joe this too. I think I also have a chip on my shoulder for this movie because the night I needed to watch this movie was the same night the Monster Hunter Rise update came out. I was, come on, man.
Yeah, Brad's just mad at me because he couldn't play video games.
Always. No, it's a delight to do this show.
That's right. I could have been playing video games watching this. Now I'm mad at Joe too.
Well, then let's wrap this show up and let y'all get on your merry way. So, the crankometer, for those of you who aren't familiar, is an XY axis that we've devised for rating Christmas movies. The X-axis is how Christmassy the film is, and the Y-axis is how good the film is, the quality quotient. So, gentle friends, how Christmassy is Let It Snow?
Kinda. We got that Madonna and Child theme. We've got the Let It Snow is kind of sort of a plot element, as in so much that this movie has plot elements.
It tries not very hard though.
It's got some Christmas trees. There's some Christmas trees in the hotel, and I think one in that weird murder cave, if I remember correctly.
There was.
Yeah,
there was.
For some reason. So
I want to give this one more point than the last Let It Snow that we did, because this movie actually incorporates the song Let It Snow in a way that makes sense.
What did we give that one?
A 1.
Okay, I think a 2 is fair.
A 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Easy enough. And now the quality quotient. How good is this Let It Snow?
Well, let's talk about what was good about it. And all of the cinematography, the filming is fucking amazing. Like, these are some pretty ass shots.
Some cool shots too.
Yeah.
Some good looking scenery.
The score wasn't bad. I kind of dug the score a little bit.
I really like the fact that the snowmobile sounded like a tiger or some kind of animal roaring. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
From playing a lot of like video games set in like nasty Eastern European places, this kind of had that same feel. So it's kind of funny to notice that like, oh, these video games, I thought they were just making shit up. Like, no, like that's actually what Georgian people think of Georgia as well, apparently.
It had a very Resident Evil Village kind of feel.
Yes. I was between that and Rise of the Tomb Raider were the two I kept thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're not that far off from every other review that I've seen for this movie, which admittedly, there aren't many. But yeah, the one thing that everyone compliments is that the cinematography is just very crisp and very atmospheric. But the rest of the movie, it's just so light on what any elements that a horror movie needs to be effective, that it's
light,
it's
almost light on content altogether, I would say.
To the point where it's almost like one of those, like we said earlier, one of those like 3D motion screensavers kind of things. Like, yeah, it's pretty to look at, but you're not getting much more out of it if you just watch it.
You know what would have also, I know we're going to go back to Santa's Workshop. You know what would have been also a very cool way this movie could have been done?
What's that?
Is if they went full bore into more experimental designs. Maybe like no dialogue in English, but you don't get any subtitles. Like,
or
full on.
How about this? I got an idea. Like, because we know these two are professional snowboarders and they're probably uploading all this footage to YouTube that they have. Why not just make it a found footage movie?
Well, I think if you made it a found footage movie, you'd lose a lot of the good quality shots.
Well, yes, but also, I mean, the plot kind of almost is screaming for a found footage kind of style, because
social media posts and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess.
The problem I have with that is if you turn this into a found footage movie, then it just feels like one of like the like C- quality segments in a one of the movies in the VHS series.
Yeah, I'm more saying like go full Euro experimental and make the back half of this movie like a 45-minute long music video with mostly scenery, and it's just her having like a psychotic breakdown.
Just make it a Nicholas Winding Refn film. Like, I can get on board with that. Just make it a treatise on like the nature of violence and also snow.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It feels weird to say that this movie needed more violence. This movie needed more violence, though. She needed to like fight with the fucking snowmobile rider, not just run away and then scream a couple times.
Yeah, exactly. Like she needed to be more of a character and not just, you know, a prop.
Yeah,
to be attacked. So I think what we're saying here is that we're going to rate this particularly low on the crankometer, dipping into the negatives, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
-2, -3. What are we thinking?
-2 feels better than -3 to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't... I didn't hate it, but it just felt like so much wasted potential and so much more could have been there.
That's where I'm at, too. Yeah, like, it's not actively bad. It's just... there's just plain not enough here.
Yeah, like it feels like my reaction is like, wait, that was it?
To pull
Yeah.
a dad card, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
That's perfect. So yeah, I think we're all in agreement here. On the crankometer, Let It Snow 2020 rates a +2, -2. And with that said,
Hey, we got some time to waste, right?
Say what?
I said, hey, we got some time to waste, right?
We have a little bit of time left in the podcast.
Yeah.
So this actually looks interesting, so I have to wonder how disappointing it's going to be. This Edgar Wright movie, I saw a trailer for while playing a mobile game yesterday.
Okay.
Last Night in Soho.
Yes.
What I'm wondering about is it looks very interesting, so I wonder how it's going to disappoint, because that's how this movie gets me feeling.
I am conflicted about it because the more I sit with Baby Driver, the less I'm impressed I am with it. And I'm wondering if this is going to go the same route. Because I love Edgar Wright as a comedy director, but anything out of that, it's kind of loses me a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, like it was the ad looked interesting enough for me to actually watch the entire ad instead of clicking the button early to get my extra 360 eggs and Egg Incorporated.
Egg Incorporated.
That's a fun fucking game, man. It's a good way to waste time.
I have a love-hate relationship with Egg Incorporated, and I have to I pick it up and then I have to delete it off of my phone like 36 hours later because I'm disgusted with myself for how much time I've spent playing it.
Oh, I've spent so much time with it. I decided I'll give them money. I bought the pro permit, and somehow I got my piggy bank up to like 5 million eggs. So I was like, I'll spend $5 on 5 million eggs, sure.
Yeah, and I think I've done that 2 or 3 times now, where I've played it and then had to delete it. Oh gosh.
Boy, you guys.
It's a fun game, man. Anyway, there's a letter, right?
Yeah.
We do. We have a letter, one of those mythical letters that you podcasts hear so much about. We got one the other day. It's from a listener named Bob. Hello, Bob. How are you? And I'll read you some of it.
Is this the guy with the mattresses?
Let's see here. Hi, guys. I'm a big fan. It's taken me months, but I just finished all of your episodes.
Even the bad ones? Wow.
You are a brave soul. You know
you mean
that?
most of them?
Oh, come on.
Oh. Sorry, go ahead.
I take pride in my work. Yeah. They're great, as I love Christmas movies and TV shows, but it was weird because I listened in 2021. I knew it was coming. Trump's election, all the stuff during his administration, the pandemic, January 6th, but I got to hear your reactions in real time. Actually, that's kind of a cool thing. Like, this is almost like a podcast journal of our own lives.
A little bit.
I'm sorry that Joe got COVID, as you all seemed to be so careful and concerned. It happens. I mean, it's that easy. I have to say that you have introduced me to some new things. Rhapsody Street Kids, anyone?
Thank you.
And reacquainted me with some old favorites. I love that you review the movies and provide other commentary around what is happening at the time. I love the cats, the food, the candy, the beer. I tried to find the tree-flavored crisps, but I can't locate them anywhere. Couldn't even get them from the UK.
I had to have a friend in the UK actually go to the store that they sell them at and buy them and send them to me in the mail. That's how I did that.
Yeah, so we have connections.
The store is called Iceland.
Ah. I also can't find any of the beer that Mr. Bradford drinks.
That's because he's a snob.
Oh, come on. It's because a lot of it's local. That's all.
That's true. Yeah, and
Yeah, that's why I just said snob.
And we're all
Thank
spread
you.
out across the country. So yeah, there's really no telling if you're able to find any of our beers. I mean, you could probably find Leinenkugel. That's about it. But yeah, he says we should open a gift shop for beers. I don't know.
Maybe a little difficult on the legal end, but we will take it into consideration.
I mean, if I'm feeling snobby and can find it, my preferred brewery is like Left Hand out of Colorado.
Mm. And he also says that he enjoys the show, but he does miss Karen. And he says she's funny, and yeah, we miss having Karen on the show as well. But maybe sometime in the near future.
Yeah, I'll yell at her some.
Just yell at her enough, she'll come on. But yeah, thanks, Bob, for the letter. And he also gives us a list of recommendations, quite a long list. So we definitely have some fun stuff to choose from.
I'm very excited about a couple of these recommendations. Thank you so much for this letter. You don't know how much it means to us, really.
He ends his letter by saying, "Keep it up. I'll be listening. So glad you didn't stop at 6 years. Thanks."
Oh.
That's a deep cut because yeah, we said we were gonna kill ourselves after 6 years, and we're still here.
I did not promise to kill myself. To be clear, I just said that this was a terrible idea.
I don't think I was part of this death pact either, but in all seriousness, it's too kind of you.
I think Karen was the one who said suicide pact, and she's not around anymore.
Oh, she's in the other room. She just has better things to do, like not record.
That's too kind of you, Bob, though. We really appreciate it. Like, to have... You don't know how much it means to us. We really appreciate it.
To know that people are actually listening and enjoying what we do it means the world to me and all of us here. And
it makes it all worth it.
Yes, because we were very down on this movie until we got this letter.
Absolutely.
And so I'm glad to keep doing this. So thank you so much. And if you'd like to email us anything, just shoot those to us at xmascreeps@gmail.com, or you can tweet at us at christmascreeps on Twitter. And hey, while I'm plugging stuff, you know what to do. Go to YouTube and subscribe to our page because all of our episodes show up there if you can't get them on your RSS feed.
Smash that like button, ring that bell.
Oh, Brad beat me to it. Well, yeah, that's going to have to do it for this episode of Christmas Creeps. So until next time, folks, I've been Joseph Wade.
I'm Bradford.
And I'm Karen 5. Good night, everybody.
Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas.